girl with a preppy vibe. Came to the spot with a friend of mine. She caught my eye. From the beginning, I was hooked. I can't tell a lie. Fresh, dressed, and fly. I respect her mind. Some dude trying to impress, but looking goofy at the same time. He bugging, she looking. I'm going for mine. Confidently, I approach with that eye-to-eye contact. She smiling while adjusting her hair, so I smile back. Pretty girl, what's your name? She said, is that true? Cause if it is, your name perfect for you. My name handsome. She said your name fits you too. See, we was clicking, and after that, time just flew. Then that time came to talk to her pops. He gave his blessing. And then that mind frame I had was honoring and protecting. I knew she was the one when we met. I found my future girl, and no other woman compares to my girl.
Hey y'all, welcome to the check-in. Please let me know if you guys can hear me, because I don't want to go too far into this live stream and you guys can't hear what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments, please, if you can hear me. I am trying to type in the chat. Here we go. Let's see. But yes, I'm glad you guys are here with me today. We have a lot to talk about, okay? I can't tell if you guys can hear me or not. Let me see. Put something in the comments for me. But all right, so glad that you guys are here. Let me tell you, I have a lot to talk about today. We have some updates going on with Operation Epic Fury. We have updates with the Austin mass shooting. It's Kristi Noem, the Epstein deposition of Bill Clinton. Just a lot that we're going to get into, okay? But before we get into it, let me know if you can hear me. Hold on. Can you hear me? Here we go with this. 1 second. Okay, I cannot tell. All right, so before we get going, let me make sure they can hear me first. Let me cut this up 1 second. Let me go to my own YouTube here and see if I can hear myself because no one is responding. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you, Candy Corey. I appreciate it. Yesterday I was on here, and I think for my opening and the first video, when I was commenting, they couldn't hear me, and no one said anything until maybe 20 something minutes in. So was trying to avoid that. But okay, thank you for the feedback. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into some updates. So as you guys may or may not know, President Trump decided to remove Miss Kristi Noem, Secretary Noem, and she's going to be over in a new organization that's going to be announced or defined rather on Saturday, I think he said. But yes, y'all, she's had 2 days of very interesting testimony, and we are going to see some more testimony, right? So we saw yesterday where Cory Booker told her she was incompetent and should be impeached, all that jazz. So yes, y'all, we're gonna get into that. And let's go ahead and see this right quick. Here we go.
Just learned directly from Donald Trump on Truth Social that Kristi Noem is out as the director. We just learned directly from Donald Trump on Truth Social that Kristi Noem is out as the head of the Homeland Security. Here's what he wrote on Truth Social. I'm pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, 2026. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere we are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. Of course, this follows a couple of days of grilling before members of Congress, where she was questioned about numerous things. Number one, the activities of ICE. She never apologized for the death of 2 American citizens at the hands of ICE agents. And a lot was made of the fact that there were a series of TV ads made featuring her that cost a total of $220 million, which Democrats and Republicans said were aimed at raising her own profile. Well, now she is out. She is no longer the director. Akayla Gardner is at the White House for us. And Akayla, there had been a lot of push to get rid of Kristi Noem. A lot of folks who in those hearings called for her resignation or for her to be fired. What do we know about how this all came down?
They did.
So it seems like the final straw was today when Secretary Noem was speaking to lawmakers, and she essentially said that President Trump had approved more than $200 million in ads that prominently featured her for the department. And you heard Senator Kennedy essentially saying that, according to President Trump, that was a not accurate depiction of what happened. And this is the first major firing that we've seen of President Trump's second term. He has very much staffed his cabinet with loyalists, but this also comes after we saw the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good in Minnesota, where the president sent his border czar Tom Homan, and we saw Noem and one of her deputies, Greg Bovino, be sidelined there. And now she continues to face these very harsh questions from Capitol Hill. But again, President Trump making this decision, and he's announcing that Senator Markwayne Mullin will step into that position. He just did so in a Truth Social post, but he is praising Kristi Noem on her way out and says that she will be moving to become the special envoy for the Shield of Americas. Chris?
Okay, so special envoy for the Shield of America. That's a name, ain't it? But yes, y'all. So what I find interesting is that let me just say this. One thing about President Trump, in my opinion, is that you're not gonna make him look bad, okay? And so there was several things that I think contributed to his decision to move her into another position. Like number one, they mentioned the campaign ad. Well, not campaign ad. Well, they were campaign ads where she was, featured, right? That was $200 million, right? Number two, when she bought the luxury plane, we watched that yesterday, right? The luxury plane with the bedroom in it. And she was talking about we were going to refurbish it so that it could be a command center or, another plane for like, traveling, for moving the detainees and whatnot. I mean, then, she bought that warehouse for an excessive amount of money that was in New Jersey. And then what we're going to get into today, she was questioned about her relationship status with some of her employees. So it's been a lot that they've thrown at her. But the main thing is it came from not only the Democrats, but also the Republicans. So she was getting it from both sides in this testimony. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and look at this next video, which kind of outlines some of the different challenges that she faced in these last 2 days. Let's get into it.
Tonight, embattled Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confronted over allegations she's having a sexual relationship with former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski, who serves as an unconfirmed special governmental employee.
Have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee.
Noem offended by the question, but never directly answering
Right?
it.
I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been
So that's a no?
something that I've refuted
Is
for
that a no?
years, and I continue to do that.
Noem also forced to defend the department's $200 million ad campaign with the secretary as the star.
You budgeted an astonishing $220 million for media consultant contracts so you can star in self-promoting photo shoots and lavish ad campaigns.
The secretary also cornered on NBC News' reporting over her seeking approval for the purchase of a $70 million luxury jet with taxpayer funds.
Crazy.
The DHS says the plane was intended to save taxpayer money.
Wouldn't it have been cheaper just to buy a deportation plane in the first place?
Democrats accusing her of steering more than $140 million to a marketing company with a tie to her political apparatus, something Noem defended.
Was it all done correctly?
14 billion impressions from that marketing campaign.
Sure.
It was money spent in this country and in 8 different countries that illegal migration was coming from.
Madam Secretary,
overwhelmingly effective.
we all
$39
understand the argument that you've made.
And Ryan, it's busy there tonight on Capitol Hill. There is late news about a subpoena for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Tom, that's right. The House Oversight Committee has requested that Bondi appear for deposition to answer questions about her department's release of the Epstein files. 5 Republicans joining 19 Democrats in voting for the subpoena. There's no word on when that deposition will happen. Tom.
We thank you for watching.
I tell you what, I'm interested in seeing the Pam Bondi testimony, because if it goes anything like what we saw yesterday and the day before for Miss Kristi Noem, that's going to be something serious right there. But let me tell you, I want you guys to see the questioning of Kristi when they just straight up ask her about a sexual relationship with Lewandowski. Okay, we just saw a clip here along with some other concerns, but this is like the actual questioning of her regarding Lewandowski. So let's get into it.
Is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Secretary, for joining us. Finally, you are in charge of protecting the homeland, and so your judgment and the judgment of your senior staff can be the difference between life and death. So I think that judgment would need to be unassailable. Why then, is the question, have you made Corey Lewandowski your de facto chief of staff, who possesses an unchecked level of power at DHS? Under your leadership, this person has done things like fire your FEMA administrator while sitting behind your desk, which is your job to do, lobby to build the controversial detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz, which has turned into a legal boondoggle costing Florida millions, and have veto and reviewing and signing power over large DHS contracts and grants, which again is your job. DHS has critical agency components like the Secret Service, FEMA, Border Patrol, cybersecurity. So does Corey Lewandowski have national security experience, military experience, law enforcement experience? No. He is a lobbyist, a failed campaign manager, which is causing my constituents who are waiting for their FEMA dollars and me to wonder what are his qualifications for this job. So according to the Wall Street Journal, you and Mr. L have a close relationship that has made President Trump, quote, uncomfortable. The president reportedly denounced Corey Lewandowski as your chief of staff due to reports of a romantic relationship between the two of you. So instead, you designated him as a special government employee, a position he has had well beyond the allowed 130 days and requires him to disclose if he is making money off of his position. Trump knows that this guy is shady. Corey has a decades-long record of physical battery, sexual harassment, illegal lobbying for a Venezuelan oil company, and bringing a loaded gun into a federal building. Despite being fired or removed from virtually every position he has ever held due to misconduct, he now wields unchecked, unconfirmed, undisclosed power over your department.
Does that make sense to y'all? Everything she just said about this man's track record and how he has this kind of position over the DHS, this is insanity. I'm glad they had this testimony to put this kind of information out to light, because I wasn't tracking into that. Did you guys know about any of that? Let me know in the comments.
This person has no experience running anything close to Department of Homeland Security or even advising someone in your position. He is unqualified, which again has left my constituents and I wondering why he is your top official. So Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security. Have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is an
time,
advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it is
decisions
also a
and putting
real
up your
question.
position. So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do at the
question
Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country
is
and to
asking
make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage.
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself.
recognize-
Time belongs,
share.
time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk. Department of Homeland Security was created right after 9/11 to protect the homeland. And DHS has circulated an internal bulletin to law enforcement partners warning that the conflict of the war we're in could inspire lone actors or small-scale cyber activity inside the United States, according to a memo obtained by ABC News. So American lives are at risk. The people who work for you are at risk. And they want to know that the person at the top, you, are making decisions clearly, without any sort of cloudiness, and that they're your decisions because you're the secretary who was confirmed. That's what this is about. Saving the lives of Americans and not costing them millions of dollars and not having a secretary who's compromised in her decision-making. And Mr. Chair, before I yield my time, I would like to enter into the record some articles, and I'm asking for unanimous consent. Noem tightens her grip on DHS. Lewandowski fired FEMA admin.
Without
while sitting-
objection.
Okay. The next one is Kristi Noem secretly took a cut of political donations from ProPublica.
Without objection.
Kristi Noem fires pilot over a blanket, but is forced to reinstate him to fly home. Wall Street Journal.
Without objection.
Lewandowski taking out trash at Noem's D.C. home. Daily Beast.
Without objection.
Barbie's Mile High privacy chamber with alleged lover exposed. Wall Street Journal, how Corey Lewandowski became Kristi Noem's gatekeeper at DHS.
Without objection.
A pilot fired over Kristi Noem's missing blanket and the constant chaos inside DHS.
Without
Wall
objection.
Street Journal. Police charged Trump campaign manager with assault. PBS News.
Without objection.
Woman who accused Corey Lewandowski of assault speaks out. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. CBS News. Lewandowski's firm quietly inked deal with Venezuela-owned company Politico.
Without objection.
List of U.S. cities raising security amid Iran conflict. Newsweek.
Without objection.
Kristi Noem, I have a few more, I'm sorry. Kristi Noem misled Congress yesterday about top aides' role in DHS contracts.
Without objection.
Policy number 10271 from ICE, it is an anti-fraternization policy prohibiting romantic or sexual relationships between supervisors and their subordinates. And with that, I yield.
Without objection. Gentleman from Texas, recognized for 5 minutes.
Woo, y'all, wasn't that a lot? Yes, that was a lot. And as they mentioned, she never said that she did not have a relationship with Lewandowski. She just talked about how ridiculous it was and all of that. And you got your husband sitting behind you in this room. I don't know. So I don't know, y'all, but and what she called it her love chamber, because she got that luxury jet that we talked about, where it's like an actual bed. Like the gentleman that she was being talked to yesterday that we looked at, he had an image on a poster of the bedroom inside of the jet. It's like what you would see in a staged home. It was nice. And she just said she only had been on that plane one time and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So we got Candy Corey here. Welcome to the check-in. If I didn't tell you that. He said a love chamber. Exactly. That's what she called it. Yes. That's right. And yes, I do have my Christmas tree up. Like I have told y'all, it brings me joy. It was snowing here, what, Monday? And I had my nice tree and the snow outside. Y'all, I had a nice little situation going on. But back to this. So we have at Speak Out Now, welcome to the check-in, saying her husband is sitting right there in a special blanket. I know, right? Yes. So we got Corey talking about I'm low-key jealous. And Mr. Lewis saying this is madness. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Yes. If you like what we're doing right now, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe, support the channel. It is free. Thank you. So we have another video where this other senator is questioning her about not holding her people accountable and lying to federal judges about, I want to say those all those different ICE situations. So let's go ahead and get into that. And yes, Mr. Cannon Corey, she is married.
Chairman, a unanimous consent request to
Gentleman's recognized.
enter into the record a tweet from the Department of Homeland Security responding to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Nadler's claims earlier.
Yep, without objection. Gentlelady from North Carolina for unanimous consent.
Yes, I have three, Mr. Chairman. I ask for unanimous consent to enter into the record a Climate Power article titled Kristi Noem Gutted Disaster Response.
Objection.
And then a unanimous consent request to enter into the record a Guardian article titled A Bar, Kitchen, Flat Screen TVs, $70 million DHS is eyeing for deportations.
Objection.
And then the last one, a press release by my colleagues on the Appropriations Committee. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem spends $200 million taxpayer dollar money for a pair of Gulfstream private jets.
Without objection. Gentlelady from Vermont is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretary Noem, I want to start with your testimony in front of Congress last year. You said, quote, I think it's shameful to see the defense of individuals who break our laws. We are a nation of laws. If we are not a nation of laws, we are no nation at all. Do you stand by that?
I do.
We are a nation of laws. And obviously, in a nation of laws, agencies have to comply with lawful court orders. Mm-hmm. Secretary Noem, since you took over the department, how many times has DHS violated a court order?
We always comply with federal court orders. I believe the instances that you're talking about are times when a judge has issued an order and notification came to us in a period of time that was a large enough gap to not meet the deadline. So we may have missed
Secretary
a deadline,
Noem, if I could,
never violated.
If I could,
a court
Secretary
order.
Noem,
We've always
I have the
followed
numbers handy right here because last week a federal judge appointed by George W. Bush identified 210 times when your agency violated court orders. And one judge has said about ICE has likely violated more court orders in January of 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. Now, Secretary Noem, you have said repeatedly that your department is, quote, following all court orders. But just because you keep saying it does not make it true. And Americans aren't stupid, and they can see what is happening, and judges are also sounding the alarm. In a case where you attempted to deport Ramesa Öztürk because of her First Amendment protected rights, First Amendment protected speech, the judge said that you and Secretary Rubio had engaged in an unconstitutional conspiracy and that you both failed in your duties to protect the Constitution. And frankly, those words are absolutely shocking. And the reality is that you refuse to acknowledge, and you're doing it here today, you refuse to acknowledge that your agency has broken the law. Since you have been at the helm of this agency, has anyone at DHS lied to a federal judge?
No, we comply with all federal court orders. I'm surprised that
so is your testimony that you have not?
It should not be shocking.
Is your testimony that no one at ICE has violated a court order or has lied to a federal judge. Is that your testimony?
To my knowledge, I'm not aware of any
Okay.
situations where that has happened.
I don't know how she can really speak on behalf of her employees and her staff to say that no one has lied to a federal judge. I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question to answer when you really can't control what people say and do on an individual basis, if that makes sense. But we'll keep it going.
Not aware of any situations where that has
Well,
happened.
so when
I
you
will
look
tell
at
you-
when you look at what the court said in the Erster case, it said the court rejects this testimony from ICE's leadership as disingenuous, as squalid, and dishonorable. So we have a federal judge who has rejected testimony from ICE's leadership because it wasn't true. So the head of ICE, Acting Director Todd Lyons, lied in sworn testimony. Has he been fired?
No, Todd Lyons is a good man who has
Have there been
spent decades-
any, Secretary
he has
Noem, have
spent
there been
decades
any
protecting the American people
consequences?
and in law
Has there been any consequences
good
for
man.
him lying to a federal judge? That's what I want to know. Are there any consequences for someone under your
It is
leadership
common knowledge that
lying?
we have activist judges out there throwing opinions
So you have
around that
said
are not based on
repeatedly,
law
again, I just
or
want to bring us
constitutional
back to my question. You have said that we are a nation of laws.
Yes.
Nobody is above the law. You are not above the law. Todd Lyons is not above the
you
law.
believe that,
No
then
one
every
working
person
for
who's
you,
in this country
nobody
illegally
working for you
should be
is
held
above the
accountable
law.
for breaking
So I
that
want to
law.
say this, Secretary Noem, it is shocking to Americans right now to see that you can sit in front of this committee and continue to cover for people who are working under you. You're in charge now. This is your DHS. The buck stops with you. The fact that you have people working under you that are lying to federal judges and that you're not going to take responsibility for that and hold them accountable to that is shocking. And I think Americans deserve so much better than that. And your employees have regularly ignored court orders and lied to judges. Now you're covering up. And I just want to say, this conduct alone is impeachable. And I want you to know that Americans will get accountability for the damage that you have done, for the lawlessness of aspects of DHS, for killing innocent Americans, for terrorizing children. They will get accountability. And you are the Secretary of DHS for now. And you think you're immune from accountability, but I promise you this, one day, he is not going to be president anymore. He is not going to be in charge. And when that day comes, we will still be here. And we will still be seeking accountability. And in hearings like this, we are going to continue to prove your guilt. I yield back.
The lady yields back. Gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
She said, for now, you are the secretary, and we will be here upon your departure. And one day, Trump will not be in office, and we will hold you accountable. Oh, my goodness. Y'all saw that? Y'all saw that. And that was just yesterday. Like I said, she was getting it from the Republicans and the Democrats. And, yeah, then, she had called Renee Good and Alex Preddy, the two that ended up being unalived back in Minneapolis. She called them terrorists and things like that. And then, they were questioning her as to why did she refer to them as that, with their activities and whatnot. So, yeah, it was a lot that was said to her in these 2 days. She had a hell of a 2 day. And then when Trump put out his announcement on Truth Social, she had a speaking engagement in Nashville, and this became news. I was surprised that no one asked her about it that was in the audience. At least I didn't see where she was asked about anything. So we got Corey here saying they're on her peach. That lady gonna flee the country after this. She might need to. And she could ride that horse that she was on in that video. Let me stop. We got Speak Up, Speak Out now saying, yes, it is necessary to bring receipts because they lack integrity. Yeah, gotta have your receipts. You're right about that. So we are going to switch gears. I had told you guys yesterday about the mass shooting that was in Austin. I want to say it was really early on Sunday morning, like 3 a.m. And so they really haven't put out anything on it until today. So I told you that today they were going to have the body cam footage available since officer was involved because the officer neutralized the threat, the active shooter. So they had a press conference today and they went ahead and showed the body cam footage, right? And they still don't have any news as to whether or not this person was like affiliated with the folks over in Iran. He had on a shirt that said property of Allah. So they thought that maybe this was connected to what was going on over in Iran, but they haven't came up with any type of info on that yet. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tap into that. So let's get into it.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. On Sunday, APD responded to multiple 911 calls reporting a shooting outside of Buford's at 700 West 6th Street. APD officers, along with the Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services, arrived on the scene within 57 seconds and located multiple victims who were shot and immediately began rendering first aid. Putting a map up now of the location. The investigation revealed that a black Cadillac SUV was traveling southbound on Rio Grande Street when it pulled alongside Buford's, and the driver of this vehicle began shooting a semi-automatic handgun into the crowd of people that were standing outside of the bar. Several individuals were struck. The vehicle then continued westbound on West 6th and parked near the intersection of West 6th Street and Wood. The suspect then exited the vehicle armed with an AR-15 rifle. The suspect fired at a pedestrian, striking them, then walked back toward the bar. As additional officers arrived, they were directed by the suspect's location by brave people that were caught in this nightmare, and they worked to move bystanders to safety and establish a secure perimeter. At 2:03, 3 officers located the suspect near the intersection of West 6th and West Avenue. The suspect discharged his firearm at the direction of the officers. The 3 officers discharged their firearm, striking him multiple times. Officers approached the suspect, took him into custody, requested medical assistance. The suspect was later pronounced deceased at the scene. Our suspect is a 53-year-old male. The Austin Police Department has had no contacts with this suspect. His only interaction with law enforcement was in 2022, and that was a check welfare in an outside agency. This call was referenced his mental health. As this investigation has progressed, APD has learned of additional victims. APD is now aware of a total of 19 people that have been struck by gunfire. 3 people, including the suspect, were pronounced deceased at the scene. The 2 deceased victims on scene were identified as a loving daughter and a friend, Savitha Sean, 21 years of age, and a loving son and friend, Ryder Harrington, 19 years of age. These are 2 people that were dearly loved throughout this community, and that is quite clear. Both young individuals with bright futures ahead of them. On Monday, March 2nd, one of the victims, identified as a loving son and friend, George Pedersen, 30 years of age, was pronounced deceased, and he had just moved to Austin 2 weeks prior. At this time, 2 victims remain at local hospitals, with 1 in critical condition. Before we begin showing the material, I want to acknowledge the complexity and the gravity of this scene. This viewing material that you're about to see is difficult to hear, it's difficult to see. We didn't do this for the shock value. This is about being as transparent as we can, and believe me, we had to look through video that was appropriate to release to all of you. But it was important, again, to understand the events that led up to this officer-involved shooting. Any video showing the suspect firing his pistol into the crowd is too graphic to show, and we will not share that publicly. We will begin by listening to 2 911 calls, and as you can imagine, we received numerous calls, 911 calls, which were hard to listen to. And these are the 2 that we're going to be sharing today.
Austin 911. Please fire EMS.
Y'all go that way.
Hello?
I know, there's nothing you can do. Go behind us.
Hello, this is Austin 911.
Try to help.
Hello, this is Austin 911.
Y'all, go and get down over there. It's not safe.
Hello?
You need to go that way and get down.
Hello, this is Austin 911.
There has been a shooting at Bluebirds on 6th Street. There are people dead over here. There have been multiple people shot. We need help right now. This is our second call.
By Buford on 6th Street, there was gunfire. The cops are here, but everybody...
Is anybody with you, Sean?
Yeah, there's nobody shot within me, but I heard like 6 gunshots from inside. Everybody ducked down on the bottom floor. It sounds like it was from the... we're just right outside. We're hiding between cars.
Okay.
We're behind you, bro.
You heard gunshots from inside?
Yes, there's cops running towards it. But there's more was helped out. There were 6 gunshots, and there was 3 more on the street beside Buford, towards the right, looking south. There was 3 more. I think those were the cops fighting against it. There's also more sirens coming in.
Yes, we have a lot of help on the way, okay? Stay in a safe place. I need to go answer another 911 call, okay?
Go for it. Thank you. We're fine. We're in cars. But answer another call, please.
Yeah, stay
We're all safe.
okay?
We're all safe.
All right.
We're all safe. Thank you. It was...
We're now going to listen to radio traffic.
They're advising that the shooter vehicle is going to be a Chevy Tahoe. They are saying somebody was shot. George 301 going 23 units will the air. They were 6 or 7 gunshots.
We have direction travel. Suspect.
Checking.
George 301 CFY Chevy Tahoe. Going to be DL403. I do have 1 victim. Looks like you possibly shot it. We're right here on the side street. It's going to be a male.
I mean, what's the point? If you're driving a $55,000 car and you paying over $100.
You got to also be advised, we probably have about 6 or 8 people that have actually been shot.
If you were going 23 with the medics, it's clear to bring them in.
George 301 is going to be a CYOA.
That's an officer needs assistance.
We have a lot of people running out. We need to get the crime scene as soon as we can.
Citywide ONA has been started.
Unknown on where the suspect went. All we have is a white SUV. George 505, I'll be in the net. RTS 1 is 23. George 709, I'm in command. RTS 2, I have command. We're inside here first. We have at least 1 victim. Makes the patient contact. Responding units, we need you guys to clear 6th Street. We need EMS to have a route of ingress. George 505, AXP is going to be 6 in Rio. Rank 302 to responding units. I cannot stress this enough. You guys need to keep 6th Street clear. Shut it down if you have to.
On George, just let y'all know you pretty much got the city coming to you. If you want them to stage at the main and dispatch from there, what do you guys need?
For those who don't know, like 6th Street in Austin is a really popular street where they have all these different bars and stuff, and it's really popping at nighttime. That's the live music capital. So they have all these different bars and restaurants have like live music going on. Very popular because Austin is a college town. For those who don't know. So let me get back to it. Oh yeah, and so that's why they do a lot of festivals in Austin. Like have the South by Southwest festival coming up. I want to say March, April. They have ACL Fest in the fall, big area for festivals. So they have a lot of cops already in the downtown area near 6th Street because that helps them train and prepare for they have those large festivals that come into town every year. For those who weren't aware.
709, there are additional shots being fired.
Additional shots being fired.
That was to the west. Those shots were on the on West Avenue.
AR-15, AR-15 or what? On 5th Street.
On 5th Street.
Shot fired, one down. 6 and west out. Light sweater, light camera. I'm on the top. Move to now, on the street. And left.
And this is a pedestrian that was walking by. Second video is our halo surveillance. That is our high activity location observation. And this is throughout downtown, at least that 6th Street area. We were able to capture this. And the red circle there is going to be, this is after he parked the vehicle and as he's walking eastbound on 6th Street toward the officers. This is what that's going to show. Is that it for that one, Rudy? Interact here. Okay. The next video will be body-worn camera from Officer 1.
That was more than that. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Down! Everybody down! 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 Where is he? Shots fired, one down. 6 and west out. Light sweater, light camera.
Next video is from Officer 2's body-worn camera. This was an officer that was on West Street.
On the ground! Where is it? Where is it? Over there. He's on 6th Street. Where is it? Where is it? Who shot?
This concludes the materials that we're going to be showing you today. I want to again recognize the bravery of our officers. You saw that firsthand as they ran into danger to stop this.
Yes,
It is quite clear that they saved multiple lives. And also to the people, the brave people that were around, giving direction on where this guy was. It was everybody was looking to identify him and to stop this threat. So I want to thank, again, the officers that engaged him, the officers that responded, that started putting tourniquets and rendering first aid immediately to victims. As you can see, this was a chaotic scene.
Very.
that was overwhelming for many, and it's overwhelming to watch it. I walk into our PIO office and people are in tears and they're listening to these things, and it is hard and it's challenging. This devastation just doesn't affect the community, and my goodness, I don't think any of us can imagine what these families are going through right now, the suffering that they are dealing with, but our hearts are with them. I want to thank the mayor. Thank you for your leadership and city management team, just fantastic, giving us all the resources that we need. Again, this is an investigation that is continuing, still working with our FBI partners. I also want to thank DA Garza for publicly exonerating and publicly acknowledging the heroism of our officers. I want to thank him. And then I want to also make sure that our community is aware of our victim services. We have a fantastic victim service here in APD. We have 52 counselors. We're very fortunate here. But anyone who is having any trauma or any issues or questions about this can call them at 512-974-5037. Also, if anyone has evidence that they would like to send, I know a lot of people captured video and audio. This QR code, if they want to hit that, they can send and upload that information, and that will go to a detective. And again, if you see, the amazing thing is when we look at all of these 911 calls, it's about calling as soon as possible. Anyone who sees something, hears something, please call 911 immediately. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, we'll take 3 questions.
I had a question right here. So I've heard that one of the victims was outside of Buford's waiting for an Uber.
That's right.
Can you tell us generally, without compromising the investigation, where the victims were?
Yeah, I think it is important. These were not all people that were inside the bar. This is, 6th Street is what's great about 6th Street is you have the entertainment areas, and I'm talking from east to west. You have the entertainment, but people come to walk along 6th Street. That's it. And there's restaurants, all of those things. A lot of the people were struck outside of the bar. And one thing about Buford's, which is something that we all appreciate, is a nice patio, and so that's what they have on the side there. And so these were some people that were outside, that were in that back patio, but the majority of the people that were shot were outside that bar.
Can you say more about the welfare check? Did law enforcement consider taking away his firearms after that 2022?
I believe this is 2022. It may have been out of New York that check welfare was there. I think, I don't know that they had enough to do a commitment for him. I think what I'm hearing is they gave him resources to call, that type of thing. So I don't think the check welfare led to any commitment from there.
Do you know anything about his mental state?
I do not.
Chief, can you perhaps give us an update on anything investigators have found about a potential link to terrorism as a motive here?
I think, again, this investigation is, we're working in tandem with our FBI partners, and certainly as we look at different indicators, we conducted 2 search warrants, and all of those are being, gone through, and you talk about the digital evidence and all the things that we have to do. We are not ready to talk about exactly what that nexus is, but again, from that early on, the scene, calling in the FBI was the right thing to do, and you talk about a scene of that gravity and then the potential for terrorism, that had to be investigated, and it is.
We'll take one more question.
You talked about how the way you staffed the 6th Street area led to you guys being able to react quickly. Now that you've seen this success in a horrific situation that had, are you thinking about staffing any other areas of the city differently to make sure that you're able to have a similar response? Or are you already doing it?
Yeah, I think when we look at, and again, Halo being that area where there's so much concentration, and, as Austinites, that 6th Street area is that entertainment area, and we get thousands of visitors there on the weekend. And so, believe me, as new chief, when I came here, I thought, my gosh, look at the amount of overtime and the resources that we spend on 6th Street. But this is why. I mean, we have to be prepared, and anytime that you're having a very dense crowd and people are out, we need to be prepared to go, and not just for police, but for medical purposes, all of those. And so this is just, again, to look at the cast, the strike team that we have in conjunction with fire and EMS. That's what responded to these scenes as well, is being able to get there quickly to address these situations. So they will remain. And as we move forward, any crowds that we have, we are a department, again, that practices best practices throughout the country, and people look to us to what we do. Having that group every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're in this room. They have these cameras up on 6th Street. All of this, they're being looked at. So it is something that we do for very large events. So we're ready and we're prepared to go.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Wow. So that was a very thorough update. So I hats off to them. for having to go through all that footage. And, she was saying how, when she would come in, people would be crying, that works on the staff from looking at that footage. So it's a very hard job, I would think, to have to review all that and then get it ready to show, appropriate things to the public for transparency reasons. But yeah, I'm interested to find out what the FBI comes up with. I personally do not think that it was related to what's going on right now, but I'm not the FBI. So we'll see. So we got Bull Monkey saying, so who was the shooter? Okay, so the shooter was a Senegalese man. He was 53 years old. He was taken out by the Austin Police Department once they arrived on the scene. He had on a sweatshirt that says "Property of Allah" on it, which is why they are thinking he may be affiliated with what's going on over there in Iran right now. It could be an act of terrorism. So the FBI is also investigating, trying to determine what's what. But there hasn't been any update provided from the FBI to date. So the people did, Austin did they did a press conference, I want to say on like Sunday, Monday. They haven't done anything else until today, Thursday, when they released the body cam footage and 911 call. So that was the latest we just saw for us, what they have going on. And so, of course, this is very sad. It is sad, yes. The one lady, because it was a total of 4 that were unalived, one being the actual shooter. But the 3, one was named Savitha. And I think about that because her family came out and was saying, how she was the only child and all these different things. And yeah, and one gentleman had only been in Austin for 2 weeks, just sad, very sad that he just decided to go and do this. They were saying that he was driving around quite a bit, and then all of a sudden he decided to get out the car and do what he was doing. So yeah. So Boo Monkey said 53 is pretty old to then decide you're gonna pull a stunt like this. Exactly. They did say that I think when he was in New York, he may have had a welfare call, and there may have been like a mental health situation in New York. And the gun that he had was legally obtained, I want to say in 2022 down in San Antonio. So yeah, so there you have it. But I agree, definitely too old. Shouldn't be doing it at all. Just very sad. But we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we are going to get into Operation Epic Fury. We got James Ferris here. How you doing, Mr. Ferris? Welcome to the check-in. Hadn't seen you in a while, so I was about to start worrying about you. I'm glad you're here today. But yes, we're going to get into Operation Epic Fury. President Trump was in the middle of doing a honoring of a team, and he decided to give an update on what was going on with Operation Epic Fury. And I will tell you, he has given an update in some form or fashion every day, I think, since this has taken place. Yeah, he can be in the middle of something totally unrelated, and he's gonna take time to give an update on what's going on with this situation. He said, "You look stunning." Thank you, Mr. Ferris. We're gonna go ahead and get into Trump's update. And y'all know, like I told y'all, he gonna give you his progress report. Okay. So he also says that the people over in Iran are asking him for a deal. So we're gonna see how that work out. Let's get into it. Here we go.
We're coming to you with breaking news. President Trump right now speaking live from the White House about Iran. Take a listen.
Too many to introduce. A lot of them are political champions, and we don't care about them today, right? Right, Duffy? But we have, most importantly, wonderful people that love our country. And before we begin, I think I will say a few words about what's going on with respect to our operation in the country of Iran. The United States military, together with the wonderful Israeli partners, continues to totally demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule and at levels that people have never seen before, actually. We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour, knocking them out like nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launcher gets hit. They don't know what's happening. But we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. Their communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone. About 60% and 64% respectively. Other than that, they're doing quite well. I said, what's left? But they're tough, and they want to fight. And they're calling, they're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late, and we want to fight now more than they do. We've had 47 years, depending on the way you count it, but 47 years of horror with this group. And, you know, when you see somebody walking down the street without their legs, without the arms, whose face is so badly affected and hurt, it mostly came from 95% Soleimani and Iran. And we, other presidents, lived with it. I didn't live with it. And so our people are doing a great job. Again, the greatest military anyone's seen. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yesterday, my administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory. Further action to reduce pressure on oil is imminent, and the oil seems to have pretty much stabilized. We had it very low, but I had to take this little detour, if it's okay with everybody. Scott, it's okay with you? Scott's the one who has to put up with it. He said, you have to do this now? I said, I have to do it, Scott, right? But it's been very strong, and everybody, including Scott, everybody feels we had really no choice. They were going to hit us if we didn't hit them, because they're crazy. And in the long term, the actions we're taking will dramatically increase the stability of the region and oil prices and stock markets and everything else. You know, we set the all-time record in history with the Dow going to 50,000. So Dow is at 50,000. It was supposed to be maybe, if we were lucky, within, by the end of my presidency in 4 years. And we did it in my first year. We did the S&P 500. We did that in a period of less than a year. And that was even tougher than the Dow, they said, so it wasn't going to happen. But we have a great country. We have a country that's never done this well. We've had tremendous success in so many different ways. I built the military and rebuilt it in my first term, and we're using it more than I'd like to use it, to be honest with you. But when we used it, we found out it certainly did work. When we look at Venezuela, when we look at the first attack, Midnight Hammer, in Iran, which really set the stage for what we're doing right now. It's been pretty amazing. And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police, to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be their arms. They're only going to be killed.
Okay.
And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death, and I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us shape a new and better Iran with great potential. It's a country with great potential, has much better future for Iran. It's now beginning. It's going to be, I think, a great future, and the United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody. If you look at what happened, they had missiles aimed at all of these other countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, many others, that weren't really involved very much, and they had missiles aimed. Well, they were aimed there long before this ever started. They were going after the entire Middle East, and then we came along. We blew up their party. So we have phenomenal people. I want to thank all of the people that have been involved. Marco, you've been doing a fantastic job. And you've been doing a fantastic job on a place called Cuba. And A-Rod came in before. I said, hey, do you want to come up to a little award? He's gone to plenty of award ceremonies. Thank you, A-Rod. Big fan. But what's happening with Cuba is amazing. And we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay. We want you back, and we don't want to lose you. We don't want to make it so nice that they stay. But some people probably do want to stay. They love Cuba so much. I hear it all the time. That was another one that wasn't supposed to happen. Venezuela is going great. It's been stabilized. We have a wonderful person as your president-elect, Delcy Rodriguez, and she and her staff have been doing a fantastic job working with us. We're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and various other places where it's being refined, and we're sending them back far more money than they've made in many years, and actually very shortly it'll be more money than they've ever made. And Venezuela is working. So we've had a lot of countries in places that truly love, you would say football, I would say soccer, but these are all countries that love football/soccer. And so I think the group likes it. And if you'd like, you could sit. I know I'm a very exciting speaker, but you can sit down if you'd like, okay? I'm looking at everybody standing. I'm saying, let's sit down. Because we're here to honor these great champions, and we want to...
All right, you were just listening to President Trump there at the White House. This was a ceremony for Inter Miami CF, the MLS team there, behind President Trump as he's addressing the audience there and reporters. But obviously, news of day being about Iran, the president really kind of giving an update on this mission, this joint mission between U.S. and Israeli forces against Iran there at the White House. And I want to bring in our senior national policy reporter, Ann Flaherty, who is listening in. And the president really touting success here. At one point, he had said that Iran is tough. They want to fight, but now they want to talk. And you know, for him, it's a little too late. But touting the success, 24 ships, he says, that they destroyed in 2 days, and almost all of their anti-aircraft resources decimated. The president really steering the narrative here, talking about the success of this campaign.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. I mean, he really gave details there. He talked about 60% of missile and missile launchers being destroyed. He talked about ballistic missiles. As soon as they are fired, within 4 seconds, they're destroyed by the U.S. military. He's, as you mentioned, that 24 ships gone from the Iranian Navy in just 3 days. He says they have no air defenses left. So he said, quote, this is really far ahead of schedule. Now, I don't think anybody questions the might of the U.S. military and their capabilities to take out many of these targets. We've seen, for example, B-1 and B-2 bombers in recent days, really destroying some of those hardened targets under the ground. But, of course, the question is what happens next? And, you know, he has been reluctant to talk about it. We heard that he just got on the phone with John Carl, one of our correspondents, and he told him, you know, I don't want to talk about, forget next. He says what we're doing now is great. It's working. He just wants to focus on that.
Well, and whenever it comes to ahead of schedule, we'll see if this still kind of sticks to that 4 to 5 weeks timeline that he initially threw out, and also, you know, how involved he will be in the picking of a new supreme leader in Iran, as he said that he wants to be. Ann Flaherty for us. Thank you so much.
Y'all, I find it interesting. He wants to stop that. Okay. I find it intriguing that he wants to help pick the new leadership that's going to be over there in Iran. Do you think that they're going to allow him to do that? The people of Iran. Now, I had saw before that they were talking about Khamenei, his son succeeding him, but you know, I haven't seen anything else on that in the last day or two. But yes, I mean, do you really think that they're going to allow Trump to help pick their next leader? I'm gonna wait and see. And also, he was saying that they're ahead of schedule, and that I guess they're gonna be done in less than 5 weeks. Lord, I can't. I mean, you have that going on, but then you also have the people in Congress and whatnot doing this wars resolution, I think it's called, which is something that's supposed to help curtail the president's ability to do what he's doing, to stop putting resources towards what he's got going on, and they can't seem to get it passed. We're gonna have a video on that a little bit later. But yes, y'all, so that's what he had to say. But let's get into what Pete Hegseth, who is Department of War Secretary, how he's talking about the ability of the military to see this thing through to the end. Okay, let's get into that. Wait a minute. So we have Speak Up, Speak Out now saying he only has a concept of plan. Okay. And Boo Monkey said that he's young at heart. Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Well, good afternoon. I'm honored to stand right here today alongside one of America's finest, Admiral Brad Cooper, Commander of U.S. Central Command. We just had a chance to spend a couple of hours together, better part of 2 hours, going through the entirety of this operation, Operation Epic Fury. And Admiral, I want to thank you for everything you do and your incredible leadership, for your dynamic thinking, the way you're attacking this problem set on every level. In just days of Operation Epic Fury, you and your team have delivered nothing short of devastating, precise strikes, taking out the better part of Iran's Navy, making it combat ineffective, neutralizing missile sites and launchers, and establishing total dominance over the skies we fly over and seas we fly over. Our forces are executing with unmatched skill, and the mission is advancing decisively. This is the kind of no-nonsense, results-driven warfighting that America demands. And you're delivering it in spades. You are the man for this moment. Admiral Cooper, on behalf of the President, the Department of War, and every American watching, I want to thank you for the outstanding job you and CENTCOM are doing. Keep pressing the fight, and we are with you all the way. A few thoughts before I hand it over to the Admiral for an update. Iran is hoping that we cannot sustain this,
right?
Which is a really bad miscalculation for the IRGC in Iran. You see, there's no shortage of American will here. We remember and honor our fallen, those 6 that we will soon welcome at Dover, who gave everything for their country in this mission. We remember them. But we remember them by rededicating ourselves even more fervently to this mission. Our commitment to our mission objectives only increases as our advantages continue to increase. We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. Again, our munition status only increases as our advantage increases. Our capabilities, we have only just begun to fight, and fight decisively. Having a chance to hear from Admiral Cooper. If you think you've seen something, just wait. The amount of combat power that's still flowing, that's still coming, that we'll be able to project over Iran is a multiples of what it currently is right now when you add up our capabilities and those of the Israeli Defense Forces. And we have no shortage of authorities. The Admiral knows we have clear objectives with maximum authorities on the battlefield. The dumb, politically correct wars of the past were the opposite of what we're doing here. They had vague objectives with restrictive, minimalist rules of engagement. No more. Our authorities, his authorities, CENTCOM's authorities through the president and myself are maxed out. Our capabilities are overwhelming and gathering still, as are those of our Israeli partners. Our munitions are full up, and our will is ironclad, which means our timeline is ours and ours alone to control. As long as it takes to ensure the United States of America achieves these objectives, and as we flow more forces, and as we flow more capabilities, and as our munitions, as we're flying over the top, have even more devastating effects, we set the tempo, we set the timeline, led by the commander on the ground. Our ear is to the ground to listen to Admiral Cooper. What he needs and what he needs, he will get. We are built for this fight, and we are in it to win it. And we have the right commander in the lead. So
Okay, so we heard what he had to say, right? So he's saying that, you know, they have the resources to do what needs to be done to see this through. And that apparently they're saying that the people in Iran are expecting for the for the military here to run out of, I guess, firepower. And that's not the thing. But it's interesting because Trump was just saying that they don't have any air defense remaining over there in Iran, and they took out, I think, their equivalent to Space Command and the ship. So it sounds like to me, from what they're saying, that the Iran's war fighting supplies, materials are running out, are running low. But yet, you know, they're concerned about the United States running out of something. I don't know. It seems like I'm not sure it's not adding up. If they're running out of materials, so they should be really talking about, hey, we want to, you know, get to an agreement, because you don't want to like deplete what all you have. So either they do not fully know what the Iranian people have, or, you know, these people are just got a fierce will, a will to fight, I guess. I don't know. We're going to find out though. But yeah, we have Bull Monkey here saying it's pointless overturning a regime if you cannot install your own preferred administration. I mean, I get it, but they keep saying that this is not a regime change type of war. But I don't see how it's not that, to be honest. I can't see how it's not. Then we have Bull Monkey saying it's nice of him to thank them on behalf of the whole population, but it seems that the whole population isn't really in agreement with him. I can tell you that half of Congress is not in agreement, that's for sure. And that's why they're having all these hearings and whatnot going on this week regarding just that, with this wars power resolution thing that they're trying to get passed, but apparently cannot get it done right now. So we'll get into that in a second, though. What I want to show you guys is a interview that the Iran foreign minister did with a reporter here in the States. So I wonder how that works, that they're able to sit there and interview somebody from Iran. But, you know, they interviewing this man, and he's saying that basically they haven't asked the United States for any type of concession. They haven't talked to the United States, for what he's saying. So I want you to see this for yourself and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Let's get into it.
Right now, you're saying Iran does not want a ceasefire.
We are not asking for a ceasefire. And we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the US when we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us, and there is no request for the negotiation with the US from us. We have never sent any messages to them.
Minister, you said that Iran cannot reach US soil, right? The American homeland, with the weapons that you have right now. Is there any other way that Americans should be concerned that Iran could attack the American homeland?
Let me say this. Don't, not for 1 second do I believe that these folks do not have an ability to attack the American homeland. I do not believe what he's saying, and that's my personal opinion. Because of course he's gonna say, "Oh, well, you don't have to worry about anything over there." No, we need to be worried for sure. Because why would he just want to just so cavalierly say, "Oh no, we don't have anything that can reach over to the American homeland"? And y'all believe that? No, I don't believe that at all. You cannot tell the left hand what the right hand is doing. Okay? Let's keep this conversation going.
No, they have enough bases around us. Why we should go further than that? They have enough soldiers. They have enough, military assets, and they have enough military bases and military installations. So we don't need to go beyond that.
The Strait of Hormuz hasn't been closed, but the threat of its closure has disrupted the international economy. If this war continues, will Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But they have not closed it. It is the ships and tankers who don't try to pass through to cross the strait because they are, concerned about being hit by either side. So we have no intention to close it right now. But as the war continues, we will consider every scenario. For the time being, we have not done yet. And but the strait is, almost empty of ships and tankers because of their concern.
In this war, are international oil tankers potential targets for Iran?
No. Why they should be a goal for us?
Iran threatened tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has already threatened them to set them afire.
No, we have not threatened them. They are concerned themselves, and they don't use the Strait of Hormuz because of the concerns they have to be hit by either side.
Is Iran privately talking to U.S. officials right now through back channels?
No.
There's no communication with you and Steve Witkoff or Jared Kushner?
No, not after Thursday that we met last time. We met last Thursday. We negotiated for almost 7 hours. They were so happy when they left the negotiation table because we were able to make significant progress, as the Omani foreign minister said in his statement, and he checked his statement with both sides, and both sides agreed with the term he used. And we were made really significant progress. They were happy when they left, but I don't know what happened after they left.
Okay, so y'all saw what the Prime Minister of Iran had to say. He said they have not been in contact with the United States asking for a ceasefire or none of those things. Okay, they have not asked about any type of new negotiations, none of that. That's what he is saying. So what Trump is saying is different than what this man is saying. So I guess time will tell, what's what, right? But yes, let's see. We were talking about before about how, well, actually, Bull Monkey had mentioned about, how the people aren't supporting what's going on. And I was saying how there are at least some congressmen who definitely don't. So they've been trying to get this Wars Power Resolution thing passed, and it has not passed the House or the Senate. I think they're going to probably wait to see how far this war goes out, right? And then maybe they'll be able to get it to pass. I mean, I don't know. Right now we have held at 6 Americans that have, passed away from this war, which someone made a comment saying that this was not a war yet. So I just don't know what these people are talking about. Speak Up, Speak Out Now says someone lying. Yeah. Like I said, I guess we'll see at some point, if these people really are or are not asking for a ceasefire and asking to negotiate and whatnot. President Trump said, too little, too late. Yeah, he's something else. So Boumacky is saying that I doubt they have intercontinental ballistic or thermobaric weapons. They send their weapons in the form of martyrs. Exactly. Exactly, sir. That's what I'm talking about. I don't believe for not 1 second that they would be above doing something like that, because we have had 9/11 happen, right? I mean, yes, I get that you have the different bases that are overseas um in these different countries, and that they have so many soldiers over there, but these people are not operating off some type of is there like a code of conduct, a gentleman's rule that we will only um attack military type things when um they've been doing whatever since whenever. But let me stop y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get into this update about this wars resolution thing and how they're not able to get it passed. Let's get into that.
The Senate has failed to advance a war powers resolution aimed at blocking President Trump from using further military force against Iran. Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine introduced the measure. It was co-sponsored by Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. It's the second time in less than a year Senator Kaine is forced to vote on war powers related to Iran. Last June, the Senate voted against a similar effort when the U.S. bombed 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The House is expected to take up a similar war powers resolution later this week. Speaker Mike Johnson condemned the effort earlier today.
Would empower our enemies, it would kneecap our own forces, and it would take the ability of the U.S. military and the commander-in-chief away from completing this critical mission to keep everybody safe. We're not at war right now.
All right, let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. We're not at war right now, is what we just heard the speaker say. Break down the vote and what happens now.
Lindsay, 53 senators voted against this war powers resolution, which, if it passed the Senate, passed the House, and somehow avoided the veto of President Trump, would require congressional approval for any further military action the administration takes regarding Iran. The Republicans who voted for a similar measure when it comes to Venezuela, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, did not vote for this bill on Iran. In a post explaining her vote, Senator Collins seemed to suggest that the open-endedness of the operation in Iran was a factor. She wrote on X that passing the resolution now, quote, would send the wrong message to Iran and to our troops, and that providing unequivocal support to our service members is critically important, as is ongoing consultation by the administration with Congress. Senator Kaine said that he is expecting to bring this bill up again in the coming weeks, in hopes that senators who voted against it may flip their votes as the situation in Iran develops. And as you mentioned, the House will take up a similar measure tomorrow, where the expectation is that it will not pass, but the margins could be a bit slimmer. 2 Republicans in the House have signaled they will vote in favor of the resolution, and moderate Democrats have proposed their own alternative bill that would require the withdrawal of troops in the region within 30 days instead of immediately, as the current measure calls for.
Aaron Navarro, thank you.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna find out what happens. I guess tomorrow with this bill. It's probably not going to pass, but we'll see what ended up happening. I mean, at this point, like I thought, it's like when he did what he did on Saturday morning, we was kind of in this thing. Yeah, damage has been done, right? So I can't see how they would get to this stage and then pull back. But we'll see what happens. If you're here and you like this kind of commentary, hanging out, look at the news, talking, then make sure you go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna talk about Miss Melania Trump. She recently presided over a United Nations meeting, and apparently she was the first lady or spouse to ever do this. So one thing about President Trump is that he's gonna make some history. Okay, so she was the first to do this, and a little bit of backlash that has come from behind that. But let's first get into her presiding over this meeting. Check that out.
Good afternoon. The 10,113 meeting of the Security Council is called to order. Children raised in a culture rooted in intelligence develop confidence, innovate, build, compete, and maintain a deep value system. Their knowledge fosters empathy for others, transcending geography, religion, race, gender, and even local norms. They become caring people. But children raised in culture rooted in ignorance are surrounded by disorder and sometimes even conflict. When a nation restricts thought, it restricts its own future. Education is widely recognized as a fundamental human right, and yet today, so many children and young adults are banned from attending secondary schools and universities. The cost is not abstract. Collectively, your mission to maintain security while upholding the responsibility of preventing conflict during times of both war and peace is significant, must be applied evenly, and should never be carried out lightly. Peace does not need to be fragile.
Okay, so hold on. So we just saw her opening and all of that. So a lot of the different congressmen, particularly the Democrats, had concerns about, okay, well, she's presiding over this meeting and then her message is kind of poorly timed, considering that, they're allegedly stating that the United States hit that school, I want to say on Saturday, and, and unalived, I think it's 100 plus children, which, the U.S. is denying at this time. But yeah, a lot of people are not, they're thinking that this speech was ill-timed. So we're going to get into that. Let's go.
First Lady Melania Trump making a little history Monday as she gavelled the UN Security Council meeting into order on Monday. She's the first presidential spouse to open the United States presidency of the Council, a position that rotates between the countries on the Council monthly.
The First Lady was there to preside over a meeting to address children in conflict around the world, but her message was overshadowed slightly by the recent strikes on Iran, and she acknowledged those who were killed in those strikes in her remarks. Take a listen.
My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope soon peace will be yours.
Melania received praise from many conservatives online. Conservative content creator Eric Dougherty wrote on X in part, "She is so good at representing America. Class is back."
But journalist Adam Schwartz seemed baffled by the First Lady even being there, writing in a post of his own, "Melania Trump is chairing a UN Security Council meeting. I'm not joking. The U.S. currently holds the presidency of the Council, and that's who Trump chose as chair." And Mohammed Safa, the director for UN-linked organization Patriotic Vision, took it a step further, writing, "The fact that U.S. First Lady Melania Trump chaired a UN Security Council meeting on, quote, children in conflict while the U.S. and Israel killing children in Lebanon and Gaza and murdered 165 schoolgirls in Iran is the most hypocritical thing we have seen in the history of the Security Council."
Put away the haterade, is what I would say to that.
You married Jay Blige?
What is wrong with Melania chairing this meeting and making some perfectly benign remarks about how we hope children can live in peace? It's fine. Who cares?
Look,
what's the problem? What is the problem? There is no problem.
I'm a proponent of people, especially women, doing as many jobs as they like.
Yes.
I'm happy that she's getting.
I support.
Probably
women.
should get no job.
Let's stand for women.
No, but I'm happy that this was a historic, good moment for her. If that's what she wants to do, congratulations. The timing of it. If Trump appoints who speaks right now, it's not a good time. Read the room. You can do as many jobs as you want. You can hit the gavel. Be great. The timing of it does not make sense when you're there for children, education, and technology. Trump wants to cut funding for our Department of Education. There's a beef going on within our government over technology with somebody who wants to protect American people, the OpenAI founder, beefing with Anthropic, and the children in conflict. These are the three topics she's talking about, and we are in complete disarray. We just sent a bomb over to Iran that landed on a schoolhouse. So at the same time, the conflict, when she's going there banging the gavel, the U.S. can't really stand firm on the pillars that she's speaking to. And I just think that we need to think about the timing. She could have done this in a month.
We're the great Satan.
No, a lot of countries are messed up, certainly. But the U.S. certainly has its transgressions. You like to do this.
We just gotta
you like to do this comparison and contrast. Oh my God, we're not China.
America?
We're not China. I'm happy to be American. I have an American flag hanging out of the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Certainly proud to be American. But I want to tell you that it is a bad time. You have to know timing. It makes sense if the country is going through a interesting moment, to say the least, that maybe it's not the time that the wife of the president who's making these firm decisions says she's standing on the pillars of education, technology, and specifically children in conflict.
Children
like
in
the day
Gaza
after
are suffering because of the Hamas terrorist group.
We're not talking about Gaza. I'm talking about Iran. And you just said it wasn't an imminent threat, so we didn't have to send that bomb over there on Saturday. Yes? So if it wasn't an imminent threat and you're still discussing that you're not sold on the fact that it's an imminent threat, but the wife of the person who made that decision is now talking about how much she wants to protect children in conflict, you wouldn't say this is a conflicting message?
I think we need to follow our Constitution, and our Constitution requires us to vote on this kind of thing. So that's why I am skeptical of the effort. I don't think it was preemptive in nature. I think taking out Ayatollah Khamenei and his henchmen is a worthwhile moral goal, and even, unfortunately, frankly, at the loss of some innocent life. It is obviously very sad that a schoolhouse was hit. Obviously, we can't take the position that no amount of civilian life loss is acceptable, because then these reprehensible terrorist figures will just surround them, as they do in Gaza, will surround themselves with children, will embed themselves as deeply in will hold up children as shields, and hope that stops us from doing anything. So we can't be,
Melania is in front of global nations.
She's calling
and a lot of global nations disagree with what we're doing right now. A lot of people that were part of the Iran nuclear deal that Obama pushed through wanted us to stay in it. And we didn't because of President Trump. And so now we're in this conundrum with Iran. When the deal was working just fine, a lot of those people sitting around Melania wanted to stay in that deal. Okay. And she's preaching.
The U.S. and its Western allies are not the dominant cause of suffering in this world. That is the result of Islamic terrorists and China and Russia. Those are the causes of suffering in this world by and large. And we should start from there and proceed accordingly.
Up next, I'll dive into deeper into the growing frustration from the left and right over Trump administration's messaging around Iran. So we'll talk about that more. Stick around for my lens.
Okay, y'all. So y'all heard what they had to say about the poor timing. I put a poll question here, and let me see what you guys said. Okay. First of all, let me look at this thing. So far, we got one vote saying that it was not good timing. Okay. Then Boom Lucky is saying it's not bad timing. That I think it was the bad idea. It's because she's an idiot reading a script. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, speaking of that, so a lot of times, things can be portrayed, the media can portray things a different way, right? They can spin things, right? And so there was a little bit of an exchange between Caroline Levitt and Caitlin, who's with CNN, regarding how, I guess, the news medias are reporting what's going on with Operation Fury, how they're not really quick to, I guess, provide correct information. Say, the administration provides something that's not correct, but then, the news media, they don't really just rush to get the correction out to the media, right? To the masses. So I want you guys to kind of see how Miss Caroline handled that. And do you think that media has a responsibility to, I guess, report things accurately? I would think so, right? What Bull Monkey saying? It'd be like me being the Pope for the day. Oh, Bootleggy, stay with some. Lord, let me play this.
You just mentioned that the president is going to attend the dignified transfer for these families. Given what Secretary Hegseth said this morning, is it the position of this administration that the press should not prominently cover the deaths of U.S. service members?
No, it's the position of this administration that the press in this room and the press across the country should accurately report on the success of Operation Epic Fury and the damage it is doing to the rogue Iranian regime that has threatened the lives of every single American in this room. If the Iranian regime had their choice, they would kill every single person in this room. And so we can all be very grateful that we have an administration and that we have men and women in our armed forces who are willing to sacrifice their own lives for the rest of us in this room and for every American across the country and for every troop that is based in the Middle East. That's what these...
Secretary Hegseth was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed.
That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin, and that's not what the secretary meant, and you know it. You know you are being disingenuous. There is not... We've never had a Secretary of Defense who cares more.
Drones get through or tragic things happen. It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad. Yeah, as you know, we cover the deaths of U.S. service members under every president.
The press does only want to make the president look bad. That's a fact. Especially you. No, listen to me. Especially you and especially CNN. And the Secretary of Defense cares deeply about our war fighters and our men and women in uniform. He travels all across this country to meet with them, to connect with them, and your network has hardly ever probably reported on that. You also had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Chairman Kane, who's a brave patriot, standing alongside the secretary at the Pentagon this morning, again expressing his condolences to these families. And I just told you that the President of the United States will be attending their dignified transfer. So please,
that's not making the president look bad. That's showcasing that.
We expect you to cover that as you should. We expect you to cover that as you should, Caitlin. But you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. That is an objectable fact.
I don't think covering troop deaths is trying to make the
If you're
president look bad.
if you're trying to argue right now that CNN's overwhelming coverage is not negative of President Donald Trump, I think the American people would tend to agree, and your ratings would tend to disagree with that as well. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. On the school strike, back to that for a minute. I understand that the U.S. does not target civilian infrastructure. That's what you said. Can you say that there's any evidence right now that it was not a U.S. strike? And then also, you didn't mention Israel in that. Is there any assessment about Israel's potential likely role in that, if at all?
Again, the Department of War is currently investigating this matter, but again, I will reaffirm that the Department of War and the United States Armed Forces do not target civilians, as does kill and execute their own people. Christian.
Okay, so what y'all think about that? That exchange right there. And I'm putting a poll in here asking, will the CNN provide negative coverage of the administration? Because I didn't know that. I know that Trump would always call, I think, Fox News fake news. But I mean, when I find these clips, I just find things I feel, that are fact-based. I have no idea if CNN is more aligned with this or that or Fox. I mean, I just want the information to be, accurate and preferably not to be too long. Okay. So you see me having clips from all type of sources. Okay. But anyway, we got Tyrone Thompson here. Welcome to the check-in. Glad you're here. And we got Speak Out Now saying she got really upset. Didn't she though? She said, stop, listen to me. And I want to say Caroline Levitt is pregnant. I think she's due this summer. But yeah, she got upset about that. The lady, the brunette, was very calm in my opinion. But yeah, I think that they should report accurate information and it should be objective. That's my thing. It should be accurate and objective, personally. Okay. So next up, we have the Bill Clinton deposition regarding the Epstein trial. Yes. Let me tell you, we saw Hillary Clinton yesterday, right? And Hillary was giving it to him. She may be 78, 79. She's still spicy. She still got a little umph about herself. So I like that. Well, we got to speak out now saying they do not like anyone to ask certain questions. They all become defensive. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. But y'all, let me tell y'all, when it comes to Bill Clinton's testimony, he gives like I told y'all, he wants you to know that he's older, right? And he can't remember certain things. But you can tell that he was hell back in the day. Okay, you can tell that, y'all. They're talking about somebody was hung like a horse, honey, in this deposition. So I had to bring that out to y'all. And I could not delay. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this going, okay? Talk to me in the chat.
I do think you should be talking to me. I think you should have called me. I did take those plane trips with him. And you have a right to ask those questions. So I'm glad to be here, and I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. You know, I'll be 80 years old if I live to my next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can.
She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure. I wish Shantae had told me. I liked her. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering a massage. You know, all these boats that you go on and all that, they all do that.
Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
Let me stop. So y'all heard this man just say that he can't tell you how many boats and planes he been on with rich people, and they got folks offering massages. Did y'all hear what he just said? Okay. I'm sure you did. Let's keep it going.
We have Virginia Guffrey, who has testified seeing you on the island with 2 young girls. Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. He can't possibly.
Have you ever met her or any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
In Epstein's 2016 deposition unsealed in the DOJ files, he refused to answer if you were accompanied by 2 young women who were approximately 18 years old on the island. Were any such women potentially underage with you? I know you've stated that you were not there, but did you have any interaction with the said
Objection to the foundation of the question. He's already stated he was not on the island. You're now asking about a claim of the Fifth Amendment by Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. Is it possible, and in your opinion, that you and or your wife were targeted as a means of an intelligence gathering operation?
Object to the form of the question. Object to the form of the question. No objection to if he knows that they were targeted.
I believe that's what she asked.
No, she said is it possible, so she's asking him to speculate instead of asking him, does he know?
Do you know if you were targeted at any point?
I don't, but
okay.
I don't. I'd sort of be surprised, but I'm not. I don't know.
Mr. President, before we left off, I asked you to characterize your relationship with Mr. Epstein. I asked you if you considered him to be a friend. You said you did not. Is that right?
I said we were friendly and we had a cordial relations, but I didn't know him well enough because we had almost no contact beyond what I described.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what will be marked as Majority Exhibit 13. And this is Bates marked House Oversight 000126. And while it's being passed out, this is a letter from a book of letters, which
it's his 50th birthday.
Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
Questions?
Yep.
Mr. President, do you recognize this letter? And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and signature?
It is.
And why did you write this letter?
Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter for his birthday book.
And who asked you to write the letter?
I don't remember.
Would Miss Maxwell have asked you?
I don't know. I think someone on my staff asked me.
Now, there's a word that our committee has not been able to identify, and in our defense, the Wall Street.
Let me just say this, y'all. So he's saying that he remember writing the letter. He confirmed that's his handwriting. And he knew that the letter was for a birthday book for Epstein, but he cannot remember who asked him to write the letter. My goodness. Keep it going.
Journal has not been able to identify.
Imagine being on his staff.
Can you please read the letter for the record?
Yes. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Not a bad letter.
And because we haven't been able to identify that word until now, what did you
Which
mean?
word was it that you could not?
Solace, you couldn't?
No, errors.
Errors.
They understood what that
What do I
was.
mean? Anybody who's lived 50 years and done anything has made mistakes as well as progress and done things.
But for the record, you weren't referring to errors in judgment that Mr. Epstein had related to his inappropriate activities involving you?
Absolutely not. I knew nothing about that.
We have, as you know, in the files that were released, there were several photos, included you, and we have an exhibit here. That's just one of the photos, and Exhibit K, Minority Exhibit K.
Yep.
And we'll have that passed around. And what we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them, show them this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, is it, who is that including?
Well, my TIL team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one, and the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And so, and then he was very proud of that, and he hosted, his time came to host it. You know, you do these things in rotation. And it came at either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, and he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
We should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
It'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay,
We do
thanks. I just
have it
wanted to
as
make
well.
sure he knew the
And so
context.
were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about.
Well,
He's asking in the pool
It appears
area.
this photo, there's a girl over here, or there's someone.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
But he's also asking in the pool area whether other
Yes,
individuals.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were other people in the pool.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you
No.
know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party, he's asking you?
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish, and I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water of this big pool was on the same floor that there were several suites, so we went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
And then I have to ask this, did you engage in any sexual activity
No.
with the person? Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, there's been new information that has come out regarding the autopsy of Mr. Epstein. I would just like to ask you personally and directly, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Are you asking him to speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I'm asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend Jeffrey Epstein
Are
suicidal?
you classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was
has called
friendly?
him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not, you've asked for his testimony.
Mr. President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know, I only know what the medical finding was. I think maybe
That's it.
he finally got caught, and I don't know. I've accepted it in my own mind, I don't know what happened,
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
but he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank
And
you,
neither do
Mr.
you.
President.
We don't, none of us know, we weren't there.
Mr. President, it's been an honor. Thank you.
It's, again, it's from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I read it.
We believe, while it's redacted, having seen the unredacted files, we believe that the two is to the same email. It says, sorry to hear about the Bellsberg stuff is bad news, even worse, that it may be damaging. You know that one of my pet fears is that in London I am press toxic, so I hope that I never add to your woes in that department. If I hear anything, I will of course let you know. I could not help myself. There was one juicy little tidbit I did let out, the one about what a super stud that you are and how I have a crush on you and how you are hung like a horse. And well, you get the picture. Hope you don't mind. Are you familiar with this email?
Are you saying at the time it was sent?
Now y'all heard how they just sat there and said the man was hung like a horse. So y'all thought I was not telling the truth, y'all. This was in this deposition. Oh my goodness. And he looking all smug, honey. All smug.
In the preparation for this.
At the time that it was sent, were you familiar with it?
Oh, no.
Are you familiar with it before?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now famous.
Okay, what can you tell me about your knowledge of this email?
So if his knowledge is only from when he was prepared for this hearing, that would have been with his counsel, or is that what are you asking for outside of any preparation for this hearing?
Mr. President, do you believe that Mr. Band sent this or received this email?
I do.
Okay. There's more. Let me go to the next one. Exhibit, which would be number 20.
And the answer is, I don't know.
There's no question.
Okay. At the time?
I would just ask you to clarify whether or not you're asking if he knows about these emails at the time they were sent, or if you're asking whether or not he came to learn about them in the course of preparation, just so that distinction in time is clear.
Okay. believe this email is also very short. It's just at the top. Again, it's from the WJC email, the same one. And it says, "This email is silly. I want to spank bottoms tonight."
Who's it from?
It's from the same email account, the same email that has been used before, the WJC email.
Y'all heard that about spanking bottoms tonight? Did y'all hear that? My. Mr. President.
What was your knowledge of Mr. Band's relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell?
I knew he was, basically, he contacted her in the same way that she represented Epstein on things. I did not know, nor did I need to know, that they had a personal relationship for a while.
A physical relationship?
Are you asking him whether or not they had a physical relationship?
You believe they had a physical relationship?
I don't know for sure.
And just to be clear, you said it, but you did not have a physical relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell.
The president's answered that question multiple times.
Your statement in 2019 about only meeting with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions briefly.
That is not correct. I'm going to object to that characterization. That is not what the statement says.
Okay, so the third
You're reading the
paragraph
Daily
down.
Beast article.
So which is a leftist rag, by the way. And on the third paragraph down, it says, in his Monday statement, Clinton said he had only, quote, one meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office in 2002, and around the same time made one brief visit to Epstein's New York apartment with a staff member and his security detail. Those are the two
That
meetings
is in
that were
addition to this.
referenced.
So the Daily Beast, Bill Clinton failed to mention his intimate dinner, 1995 dinner with Epstein. That's by Pilar Melendez on the 11th of July, 2019.
All right, Mr. President, your statement saying, only met with Epstein briefly twice, was that part of an effort to cover up your close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
Object to the form of the question. It misstates the record.
She's asking if you were trying to mislead the public.
Oh, no.
Okay. How many times did Ghislaine Maxwell visit your home in Chappaqua?
I have no idea.
Who invited her?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how, she may have been.
Mr. President, that's it.
Okay.
Hillary had political events there.
Okay, so is it to your knowledge, was she at your home in Chappaqua likely because your wife had her over for Senate events? That's what you testified earlier today, correct?
That's not what he testified, but please ask the
I would like
question as
him
to
to
what he would
clarify.
actually, thank you, I appreciate that.
I do not know, but if you are implying the reverse, I will volunteer something. She was never at my house in Chappaqua for any personal reasons.
I didn't say anything for anything
No,
personal.
you didn't, but you had a great tone in your voice, and you're very good at it.
Thank you, I'll take that as a compliment. I
It is a
admit
compliment.
Thank you, and I did not go to Yale Law School or any law school for that matter.
Mr. President, did you ever make any kind of attempt to influence the media's coverage of Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what we've marked as Majority Exhibit 23. And this is Bates number EFTA 02792895.
One page.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who's Shaza? I don't even know who that is.
And this is email from Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim, that alleged that you walked into Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about your good friend Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, is this true?
No. No. Not no, hell no, not close, no.
Why do you think Ms. Giuffre would make these claims?
Are you asking him to have an opinion
I don't
about
know,
Ms.
but-
Giuffre's point of mind? Can we not do that? Like, ask him about the facts that he knows, as opposed to asking about the facts in other people's minds.
Mr. President, have you ever asked any other publication to shut down a story related to Mr. Epstein?
No.
So y'all, So y'all, my. So wasn't Mr. President Bill Clinton? He was a little entertaining, wasn't he? Now I thought that Hillary was gonna be the spunky one, but I mean when they was asking him about, they were talking about him being hung like a horse and spanking bottoms, and he up here with the fingers. I said, okay, Mr. Clinton got a little something going on here. But yes, I think I told y'all how they have voted to um they're gonna subpoena Pam Bundy to do a testimony regarding the handling of the Epstein trial. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna play out. But yeah, if you're still here, please go ahead and like the live stream, support the channel by subscribing. I do this right now Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I'll be back again on Monday, okay? If not the weekend. But if you subscribe, then you'll get notifications and everything. But anyway, y'all, what did you guys think about today's topics? It was a lot. I mean, we got Operation Epic Fury. We had Kristi Noem, who has gotten let go from her position. We got an update on the Austin mass shooting. Miss Caroline Levitt checking the newscast. There's a lot going on between yesterday and today. But anyway, y'all, what do you guys have for me in the chat? We have Lou, and you know it, saying he is in there cracking up. He being Bill Clinton. Yes, he was. He was enjoying the 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 questioning, and especially talking about him being hung like a horse. He liked that, at 80. But he played his card with that age. Oh, whatever, I can't remember. I mean, he came out the gate talking about, well, if I live to see, I'll be 81. You know how they do. But yes, y'all. So lots going on. But yeah, I don't see anything else here. So yes, y'all, I'll be back on Monday for sure. Go ahead, subscribe, notification bell, and you'll get the notification and everything. And with that, you all have a great weekend and stay warm and stay safe. And I will see you on the next live stream. Bye.